Howdy y'all, this is Karlavaruk Jaguar back at it with a new video. Please like, comment, and subscribe down below. And please hit that notification bell and you will be notified every time I update and upload a new video. Today I have my complete first round mock draft for you for 2019. I have no trades whatsoever in this mock. Partly because trades are, well, too difficult to project. I will do one as we draw closer to the actual draft. But this is my pre-combine first round mock draft. At number 1, we have the Arizona Cardinals, and I have them selecting, surprise, Josh Allen, the linebacker out of Kentucky. Allen is a physical freak. He's a freak of nature. And with the Cardinals looking to move likely to the 3-4 with Vance Joseph at defensive coordinator, it only makes sense to take Allen, who's probably the most electric pass rusher in this draft class, over, say, Nick Bosa, who is definitely the most pro-ready pass rusher in this class. But his injury concern and the fact that he's more of a 4-3 defensive end instead of a 3-4 kind of makes Josh Allen just simply a better fit for the Cardinals. At number 2, I have the San Francisco 49ers selecting Nick Bosa, defensive end out of Ohio State. Like it was said, Bosa's probably the best pure pass rusher from a technical standpoint, just like his brother Joey. And the 49ers would benefit immensely from this pick. Also, at number 3, I have the New York Jets taking Jonah Williams, offensive tackle out of Alabama. Sam Darnold showed his flashes, but he also had a very poor offensive line. Give him potentially elite blindside protector, and the sky could be the limit for Sam. Now, in the next couple rounds, surround him with weapons. That's all the Jets need to do, is give him weapons and a blindside protector. And with this pick, he gets a blindside protector. At number 4 overall, we have the Oakland Raiders with their first of 3 first-round selections, and I have them selecting Quinnen Williams, defensive tackle, Alabama. Williams is probably the player that rose up the draft boards faster than anybody in college football this season. He is a redshirt sophomore, and he dominated the competition. And the sky's the limit for this guy. The Raiders, they pretty much need an entire defensive identity. And Williams can help definitely do that. They were one of the worst teams at stopping the run. That will change with Williams. And that will help them win more games, because stopping the run, you make opposing offenses one-dimensional. It won't be a quick fix, but it will definitely help to solidify the defensive line. Not only that, but he can play 3-tech. He can play nose tackle. He can also slide outside to end in some packages. And so he's definitely a very versatile player. Someone that John Gruden would very much like to have on his defense. And he can also rush the passer from the inside and move quarterbacks off their spot, disrupt the pocket. And that's definitely an impact right there. Even if you don't get home and get a sack, you get the pressure, you move the quarterback off his spot, you make him hold onto the ball a little bit longer to try to reset, and some of your teammates might get a sack off of that. And of course, eating up the double teams helps to free up his teammates to actually get a clean shot at the quarterback. That will be a very smart move if Quinnen Williams falls to number 4. At number 5, I have the third Alabama player selected in a row to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, safety Deontay Thompson. Some might say this is a little high for a safety, but the Bucs, they have a few corners. What they really miss is they need someone in the secondary who can be that do-it-all safety, like a Deontay Thompson, someone who has the potential to be like an Eric Berry or a Earl Thomas type of safety. They don't have someone like that. They don't have a Tyrann Mathieu. They don't have that. So getting someone like Deontay Thompson would definitely help the Bucs secondary solidify itself. And he's a dang good safety too. Moving in at number 6, we have the New York Giants selecting, drumroll please, Dwayne Haskins, quarterback, Ohio State. Some believe Haskins is the top quarterback in this draft class. For me, it's a toss-up between him and Kyler Murray. Personally, I like Murray better, but I think that Haskins fits the Giants' system better than Murray. And with that being said, Haskins has all the tools. He's got a good arm. He's got good velocity, good touch. The only thing is with him, really, he's got a slight wind-up. He's not super athletic, but he's sneaky athletic. And I'd like to see him do a little bit better under pressure. Those are probably my only knocks on Haskins, but the stats are there. He knows how to win. So I think that Eli should stay in New York at least for 2019. Get Haskins, groom him a little bit, and start giving him some snaps towards the second half of the season so that he will be able to be the full-time starter come 2020 and be the future of that franchise. At number 7, we have my Jacksonville Jaguars. Just as my channel name suggests, I am a Jaguars fan, so I will preface that. So sometimes I could be a little bit biased towards my team, but aren't all fans of a team going to be biased towards their team at some point? But at any rate, just like I was saying, it's a real toss-up between Haskins and Murray, and I think that the Jags do go quarterback with this pick, and I think it could be a toss-up between any of the quarterbacks, between Haskins, Murray, Locke, or Jones. Some say they seem to like Jones because of the connection between Coughlin and Cutcliffe, but I'm not as high on Daniel Jones as others are, and Drew Lock, he kind of scares me a little bit with the similarities to Blake Bortles, and, even more alarmingly, Blaine Gabbert, who also attended Missouri. So for this pick, and with Haskins off the board, the pick is going to be Kyler Murray, quarterback, Oklahoma. I don't know about you guys, but the height issue is not an issue in my book. It is not. If you can play quarterback and play efficiently, and you can be electric and put the team on your shoulders and make plays, I don't care if you're 4'9" or 6'7", or 7 feet tall. If you're a quarterback and you're good, and you're 4'7", 4'8", but you're still doing good, I don't care. You would be the pick. Obviously, there's probably never going to be a player that short in the NFL, but that's just how I see it. If you're that talented, I don't see why height should really be considered a limitation. Kyler Murray has the best spiral in his passes of any of these quarterbacks. He's got very good arm strength. He's super athletic. Comes from the same program that produced Baker Mayfield. And historically, it seems that shorter QBs are having quite the success stories so far. Baker Mayfield looks like he's going to be a superstar in the league. Drew Brees has already won a Super Bowl. And so has Russell Wilson. So I don't see what the big deal is over his size. Maybe his slighter frame, but so what? Lamar Jackson's not the biggest quarterback either. He's a runner. He doesn't have the thickest frame, but he turned that Ravens team around, and Marcus Mariota got the Titans to the playoffs in 2017, and he's a slightly built quarterback as well. So smaller quarterbacks can do well in the NFL, and I believe that Kyler Murray will. Plus, I personally believe he's committed to the NFL. He would have gone to Oakland to be with the Athletics for baseball if he wasn't committed to the NFL. If he was committed to baseball, he would have gone. But he committed to the NFL draft. He committed to the combine. He's going to the combine. He declared for the draft. I think his intentions are to play in the NFL. Plus, he could have foregone the season at Oklahoma and gone straight to baseball before the 2018 season. But he chose to stay in school and play football. And so I think that he already knew he was going to play football. And I think he's going to be a dang good quarterback. And with him and his electric speed, his ability to throw the ball, if the Jags can get some weapons, I think Kyler Murray can be a very, very good success story in the NFL. And bring some excitement back to Jacksonville. Moving on, number 8, the Detroit Lions. I have them selecting Montez Sweat, edge rusher. Now, I can't fully remember the school he went to. I believe it's Michigan. But Montez Sweat is one of my favorite pass rushers from this class. He's explosive. He uses his frame well. He uses his hands. Perfect replacement for Ezekiel Ansah, or even a perfect complement if they do decide to keep Ansah. So I think that would be a very, very good pick for Detroit. Moving on to number 9, I have the Buffalo Bills selecting DK Metcalf, wide receiver, Ole Miss. Yes, the neck injury was concerning, but I believe that Metcalf, with his freakish size, speed, and catch radius, will turn enough heads in the Bills' front office that they can't pass up the opportunity to get Josh Allen, a freakish number 1 wideout, early in the draft. Plus, with an offensive lineman not necessarily worthy of a number 9 overall pick, with Jonah Williams off the board, then I think that they have to go and get him a weapon. They can always get a tackle in round 2. Moving on to number 10, the first corner comes off the board to the Broncos, and it is Greedy Williams out of LSU. I like Williams. He kind of reminds me in terms of with his ball hawking. He kind of reminds me a little bit in his aggressive play. He reminds me a bit of an A.J. Boye. Maybe a little bit of a faster player than Boye, but his ball hawking skills reminds me of Boye. And I think he would fit perfectly in Denver with Vic Fangio as the head coach. And I just like that fit. Plus, they just traded for Joe Flacco, so I don't think they really need to go quarterback in the first round. I think that they could draft a guy in the second round, maybe a Will Grier or a Drew Lock if they fall, and groom him to be a starter in 2020 or 2021, or they could wait until 2020 and trade up for one of the elite quarterbacks in that class. There's going to be several. Tua Tagovailoa comes to mind, as does someone like Justin Herbert, or the guy from Clemson, Trevor Lawrence. All three of them are looking like they might be 2020 first-round draft picks. Early first-round draft picks, too. And I think that if the Broncos do pass on a quarterback this year, that they could be setting themselves up to try and swing a deal to move up into the top 5 to get one of those quarterbacks. So, at number 11, I have the Cincinnati Bengals selecting Devin White at linebacker out of LSU. Sideline-to-sideline linebacker. And he just reminds me more of a guy like Miles Jack in terms of the speed and the quick flow to the ball. That's who I think of when I think of Devin White. Perfect fit in Cincinnati. They might be moving on from Vontaze Burfict, which he's a bit of a headache, a cancer in the locker room. So moving on from him, bringing in a guy like Devin White, you're setting yourself up for success in the future. At number 12, I have a Green Bay Packers, and I have them adding to their defense with Clelin Ferrell, defensive end out of Clemson. Ferrell seems to be a guy who's not even tapped his potential. I think he can be a real star if he gets into the right system. I really do. Now, he might not have the most elite measurables, but Ferrell, he's going to have the tools at his fingertips to be a top-notch pass rusher in the league. And so, at number 13, I have the Miami Dolphins selecting Missouri quarterback Drew Lock. I think Lock and Jones are kind of neck and neck for number 3 quarterback, but I think that the Dolphins will want that bigger arm that Lock possesses, and that's just where I believe that they'll be going in the future, is with a rookie quarterback in 2019. Coming in at number 14, I've got the Atlanta Falcons, and they will be selecting defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence. He's a massive human being, and he would do fantastic in a system like that. They have been looking for that nose tackle type of player with Dontari Poe, and now they have a guy that they can trust will take up those double teams and stuff the run, while also being able to get some pressure on the quarterback himself. Coming in number 15, I have Washington Redskins, and they will be taking Daniel Jones, a guy that they can start grooming and as an insurance policy in case Alex Smith cannot play in 2019, which it looks like he might not be able to with the infection in his leg. Jones has good arm strength. He's got good mobility. He comes from a pro style system. I just think that Jones is he's basically a guy that's more of a lower risk, medium to high reward type of quarterback. And when I want to compare it to the other quarterbacks, I think that Haskins and Murray are higher risk, but they, especially Murray, has the highest reward as well. So I think that out of these quarterbacks, Jones is probably the safest quarterback in this class, but he's, in my opinion, he's not an elite quarterback. I don't really think there are really many elite quarterbacks in this class. Maybe Murray and Haskins are probably the only two I really see as having the best chance of being elite. But they have to land in the right spot with the right system in place to be able to become elite, just like any of these other quarterbacks. At number 16, I have the Carolina Panthers, and they are going to select Cody Ford, offensive lineman, Oklahoma. They need to protect protect Cam Newton, and that's without a doubt. They need to protect him. They can't afford to have him go down with an injury. And as Cam gets older, his body is going to start breaking down because of his style of play. And so they need to protect him, keep him upright as much as possible. And their offensive line is not that good. They have a history of not really working with the offensive line ever since Gettleman was in Carolina. At number 17, I have the Cleveland Browns. And I have them selecting N'Keal Harry, wide receiver, Arizona State. Yes, N'Keal Harry to the Browns. I think that would be a fantastic... Actually, no. Yes, N'Keal Harry to the Browns. I think that would be a very good pick. I almost changed my pick, though. Almost. To Marquise Brown out of Oklahoma. The only reason I would have done that would have been to pair him back up with Baker Mayfield. But Brown is a very similar receiver to someone they've already got on the roster. So, N'Keal Harry is someone different. He's got the size. He's got this. He's not the fastest guy, but he's got size. He's got physicality. He's got jump ball ability. He's going to fight for the yardage. He's got yards after the catch ability. He's got everything you look for in a potential number one receiver, except for maybe the elite's top end speed. And if that's his only limitation, I'd say bring it. N'Keal Harry is one of my favorite receivers in this draft. And there are a lot of great receivers in this class. But I really like Harry. And I think that a quarterback like Mayfield could be a very good pairing with N'Keal Harry. At number 18, I have the Minnesota Vikings selecting an offensive lineman. This time, it will be Greg Little out of Ole Miss. Little might be a little bit raw, but I do believe that with the right coaching at hand, he could fit in right there in the Minnesota offensive line and compete from day one. They definitely need to fix their offensive line if they're going to try to win a Super Bowl with Kirk Cousins. And I do believe Kirk has it in him to possibly get there to the big game. But they need to be able to protect him. They really need to protect him. Coming in at number 19, I'm going to give the Tennessee Titans Christian Wilkins, defensive tackle, Clemson. Wilkins is one of my favorite defensive tackles in this draft, and there's a lot of them. And I believe that pairing him with Jarrell Casey will be a nasty, dangerous combination for any of the teams in the AFC South and anyone else who will face the Titans in the near future. Coming in at number 20, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they will be selecting, with their next pick, a corner who is... No. Yes, I'm going to have them selecting a corner with their next pick, and it will be Byron Murphy out of Washington. Artie Burns has not been good. Joe Hayden, getting older. They need to be able to stop the pass if they're going to win games. I think that if Antonio Brown left the Steelers, they could be fine. They've already shown that without Le'Veon Bell, they can be resilient with James Conner when he's healthy. But they need someone like Murphy at corner, because Artie Burns, he could be gone. I don't think they would really want to keep him if he's not going to get any better. So, draft somebody new, move into a new era in Pittsburgh. Yeah, you might lose Antonio Brown, and there's his cousin, or whatever he is to him, Marquise Brown, still on board. But there's plenty of top-notch receivers in this class. This cornerback class is not as chock full with talent. So get one of the top 3 corners in this draft. Coming in at number 21, the Seattle Seahawks. They could go defense. They really could. But I want to see them go offensive line. And one of the areas that they've struggled in drafting has been offensive linemen. And so I am going to project, and I can't fully remember the school he goes to, but I am going to project that they draft an offensive tackle, and actually, I do know whoever this guy goes to school. It's Jawan Taylor, and he goes to Florida. I believe that he fits the style that the Seahawks like. They like to be physical, and that's definitely what Jawan Taylor is. He's physical. And coming in with the next pick, I have the Baltimore Ravens, and they will select Marquise Brown out of Oklahoma. They need firepower on that offense, and someone who's a deep threat could be very, very good with Lamar Jackson. Stretch the field, and now Lamar Jackson's running ability gives them the chance to do a lot of different creative things on offense with Marquise Brown. Very electric player. So is Lamar Jackson. Put them together, you've got a recipe for something special. At number 23, I have the Houston Texans, and they will be selecting an offensive tackle. And this time, they will be selecting Andre Dillard. Yes, Andre Dillard. He's moving up draft boards mighty quickly. Texans, they probably should spend their first 2 picks in the draft on the offensive line. Their line is that bad. Worry about receiver later to pair with DeAndre Hopkins, worry about a corner later. Go get yourself some offensive linemen. That's where you really need to improve, Houston. So please, if you're listening, Bill O'Brien, please, for your own team's sake, draft an offensive line. And I'd predict Andre Dillard to you guys in Houston. Coming in at number 24, Oakland Raiders second pick, and I'm going to give him Rashawn Gary, edge rusher out of Michigan. He's a freakish athlete for his size. He is, but he hasn't put it all together yet. But someone like John Gruden, who he's a teacher, and I believe that John Gruden can indeed help him put the pieces together. And he's been really good, but he's mostly just been using his body to overwhelm his opponents. But I think he could have a fit in Oakland. I really think he's got the grit to be able to fit there. Coming in at number 25, the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm going to have them retooling and their secondary with DeAndre Baker. I think that they need to add another piece to the secondary. Ronald Darby could be on his way out. Sidney Rice, I believe that's his name. The cornerback that was drafted in the third round due to an injury. I haven't really heard too much about him making it onto the field. I don't know if it's just a lost cause. I don't know if the injury is still plaguing him. But I think that they need to add another corner, and DeAndre Baker is the next best corner on the board. He's got that ability to be a shutdown corner. So I think that the Eagles would be very happy to get a corner like that. Also, coming in at the next pick, the Indianapolis Colts, I think it would be a good idea for them to select another wide receiver. And I think that they will be selecting Kelvin Harmon, wide receiver, NC State. Easily the best receiver on that team. Harmon, he's a reliable receiver, and that's what teams like. They like reliability, and he would be a nice complement to T.Y. Hilton. Andrew Luck is already licking his chops, ready to throw the ball to Harmon. Coming in at number 27, the Raiders, for a final pick of this round for them, and I've got them selecting A.J. Brown, wide receiver, Ole Miss. DK Metcalf's teammate. Brown is not elite in terms of speed, but he is reliable. And that's exactly what John Gruden needs in Oakland. He needs a reliable receiver. Coming in at number 28, I have the Los Angeles Chargers, and they will be selecting an edge rusher because of Ugent leaving. I believe that he could, actually a defensive tackle. I'm going to go ahead and mock I'm actually going to go off of a whim here and say they're going to end the fall for Jeffrey Simmons. I think that they feel that at some point during the season, his ACL could be healed enough to get some reps. Maybe towards weeks 14 or 15. But I believe that they'll see him as too good of a talent to pass up and that he won't be there at the end of the second round when they pick it again. And I know Gus Bradley from being the Jags head coach. And Bradley, he would love to work with a 3-tech like Simmons. With his get-off skills, yes, that could be a very scary prospect for AFC West teams. Coming in at number 29, I have the Green Bay Packers, and they will be taking Iowa tight end TJ Hawkinson. And I like this fit. I really do. It's a very good fit for the Packers. They need tight end. Marcedes Lewis probably not going to be back in Green Bay. And they just haven't had luck with the tight end position in free agency. So, come on, Green Bay. Get yourself a tight end and get the best one available. Coming in at number 30, I have the Kansas City Chiefs, and they'll be selecting the cornerback Trayvon Mullen. They need to build up their secondary again, and what better way than to get the next best corner on the board. Mullen's got great ball. Mullen's got all the traits that a top corner would have. Coming in at number 31, the Rams. They don't have too many needs, but they've got some. And I am going to say that they would benefit from having a new guard. Because, well, a tackle, but he could also play guard. And I'm going to say that they will draft Dalton Risner out of Kansas State. And this is because of the comments from Andrew Whitworth that he might retire. So, Dalton Risner going to the Rams. Good pickup. I like it. Now, at number 32, the New England Patriots, they, in my mock, will select potential Rob Gronkowski heir, Noah Fant out of Iowa. Fant is a slightly different type of tight end than Gronkowski. Like Gronk, he's more of a wide receiver in a tight end's body, but he's slightly smaller for a tight end in terms of he's only about 6'5", 240 pounds, so kind of slight for a tight end, but he is fast, and someone like him can really be a mismatch for defenses with Tom Brady throwing the ball to him. So there you all have it, my first mock draft here on YouTube. I will be posting more videos of a mock draft from SB Nation, Big Cat Country. I am hosting a mock draft on that website, and I will post the results here on YouTube in addition to a full article of the results on Big Cat Country as well. So thanks for watching, y'all. Have a good evening. Bye.